Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to a preview of this game right here, which you guys will notice that there actually is not a box for this game. It is because this is a prototype for a small box solo card game called Dragons of Etchinstone. So this is a game coming from Chip Theory Games, and Chip Theory Games did sponsor today's video, so a huge thank you to them. And it is designed by Joe Klipfel, which he actually designed Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, as well as a few other games. And this was actually a game that first came out in 2022 as a print and play, I do believe. And they are actually, Chip Theory Games, are actually coming out with a physical version of this game, along with some expansions. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the components that you guys see in front of me here, which is just going to be cards. And then I'm also going to be going into how the game plays, so you can get a better feel if this is a game that you want to go and back. I will have a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below if you guys want to go and check it out. A really cool thing about this is that it is actually available as a print and play as well. And there's a different name to the print and play, which is Felines of Etchinstone, which I think is the cutest name. And basically it is a reskin of Dragons of Etchinstone with cats and dogs that is available to print and play. It plays the exact same as Dragons of Etchinstone, but it is dogs and cats, which I think is awesome. But yes, without further ado, if you guys want to see all about Dragons of Etchinstone, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Also, hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And without further ado, let's get into this preview of Dragons of Etchinstone, shall we? So getting right into the aim of the game, like I said, Dragons of Etchinstone is a pocket-sized card game that is solo only. It plays in about 30 minutes, and basically you are going to have 16 of these mage cards that are going to be 4 different colors. You have yellow, blue, red, and purple. And then additionally in the base game, you also get 2 dragons, 2 double-sided dragon cards, so technically 4 dragons that you are going to be battling against. And then additionally, you're going to have these cards here, which are your region cards. So you have regions 1 through 4, they're double-sided region cards. And then also there is going to be some expansions available. So we have the North Vale expansion here, and then additionally there is a Siege expansion, which I do not have physically, but I do have a prototype here of the base game as well as all of the components for the North Vale expansion. But basically in the game of Dragons of Etchinstone, you are ultimately starting a journey. You're going to be going through these 4 different regions, battling these different monsters, as well as taking these different journeys or going on these different journeys in order to eventually, after those 4 regions, battle against the dragon. So that is like your final battle. And if you are successfully able to defeat the dragon, then you win the game of Dragons of Etchinstone. And I guess I have already gone over the components with kind of explaining the aim of the game to you guys, but like I said, you have 16 of these different mage cards that are actually double-sided, and there's going to be 4 levels of each mage card. So there is levels 1 through 4, and ultimately in the game, you are trying to upgrade these cards as much as possible in order to then, when you get to that final battle, have the strongest cards you possibly can in order to defeat that dragon. So you have all of the cards here. Like I said, you have the reference card in the base game, or the 2 reference cards in the base game. You have 2 different double-sided dragon cards. So you have 4 different dragons that you can go against, and they are different difficulties. So you can start with the easiest dragon and then moving up to the most difficult, so you have those there. And then you also have, like I said, the double-sided region cards with the 4 different monsters that you have in each of the regions, as well as the 4 different journeys that you have in each of those regions as well. So that is everything for the base game. And then additionally here, like I said, I have the North Vale expansion. And with the North Vale expansion, you are just getting more of what is in the base game to give you lots of variability and replayability. So you have some additional dragons. So you have 4 more dragons to choose from and go against. And then you also have another 4 regions that you can implement into the game. And then you also have a new reference card here with all of the additional icons and things that you need to know with the expansion. And then a really cool part of it and a big part of the expansion is the fact that you get 4 different mages that you are going to basically switch out the cards or some of the cards in your 16 mage cards here with one of the mages in order to switch up the gameplay, add some like little bit of complexity with some different icons and stuff, and give you some different cards or mage cards to play with. So yes, that is everything for the components as well as a little bit of the aim of the game for Dragons of Etchinstone. So let's get into exactly how this game is played so you can get a better feel if it's something that you would enjoy, something that you want to look into, and possibly back over on crowdfunding. So let's get into it. So the first thing that you need to do before you start a game of Dragons of Etchinstone is you do need to decide on which dragon you want to go up against. So like I said, in the base game, you have 4 different dragons to choose from that are varying difficulties. So you have the easiest dragon, which is Rodvig, and then you also have Helsang, you have Verhast, as well as Grimrock, and those are the 4 different dragons that you can choose from. So you will decide which dragon you want to go up against, and that dragon will be the first card in your deck, or the, I guess, back card in your deck. Additionally, you will have your 4 different region cards. You are going to be going obviously from 1 to 4, so you're going to start with region 1, and then region 3 to 4, that extra card, is just going to go to the back of the deck as well, right on top of your dragon card. And then in between the 2 region cards, you are going to shuffle up all 16 of the mage cards. You're going to shuffle those, and all of the mage cards are going to start on level 2. So like I said, with the mage cards, they can be upgraded and downgraded based on how well you do with these different battles and fights and journeys. So all of the cards are going to start on 2, and then eventually you will be upgrading those to 3 and 4. And then sometimes if you do unfortunately lose against the different monsters or on your journeys and things like that, you will have to downgrade them. So they're all going to start on 2. You're going to shuffle up all of those cards. You're going to put them right on top of your region 3 and 4 card, as well as your dragon. And then right on top is going to be your region 1 card there, or your region 1 and region 2 on the back. So you're going to start with region 1, and what you're going to do on your turn is you are going to deal 4 of these mage cards to you. And then to figure out what you're going to do on round 1, I guess, you're going to push down the journey card until you reveal an icon that is going to tell you what monster you're going to be fighting with or which journey you're going to be going on. So I do want to give you guys a little bit of an overview of the region cards that you're going to be looking at. So in the B-roll, I will be showing you guys the cards as I talk about things. But region cards are going to be split up into 2 different things. So you have 4 monsters on top, and then you have 4 different journeys on the bottom. So for the monsters, it kind of goes from top down, left, right. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And based off of what the number is when you reveal what you're going to be going up against, it is going to be a skull with a number. So that is going to denote what monster you're going to be fighting. Or it could also be a mountain icon with a number, and that's going to be the journey that you're going on. So the journeys are going to be in the bottom section of the region card, and they are obviously going to be numbered 1 through 4 going from left to right. And what you are trying to do is you're either trying to defeat the monster or you're trying to successfully get through this journey. So for example here, I have, when I reveal this card, that I'm going to be fighting against the first monster. So monster number 1, which is this Kung Fu Red Panda. And when you're looking at these monsters, you're going to have a heart, which is going to be their health. So this red panda has a health of 7. They also have a initiative, so that's going to be in this little flag icon. They have an initiative of 8, and then they also have the element that they are strong against. So for this red panda, they are strong against the yellow element. So they have a fire, so that is going to be the attack symbol. And then they also have a shield, which is going to be the kind of defense power that they have, specifically against whatever element it is. So like I said, with this one, it is yellow. And what you are trying to do is you are trying to defeat them by successfully hitting them for 7 attack or more. So what we are doing on our turn is we we are taking our 4 cards that we have here, and we are going to be creating a set of 3 cards, 3 mage cards. One of those are going to be your element card, so you are simply just looking at the color of the card. The second one is going to be your spell card. So that is going to be the number that you are hitting them for, or the journey number that you have. And the cool thing about this is that you are going to be pairing your element card with your spell card. And if you are able to pair an element card with the spell card and it matches, that is how you're going to get a higher number of either journey points or attack points. And then the last card that you're going to choose is going to be your boost card. So you are simply just looking at the number that is on the left side, 4th down, and that is going to be your boost. So it's going to either add to your initiative number, or it's going to add to your attack / journey number. So quickly, before we get into exactly how your set is going to work, I am going to quickly go over what a card layout is and what you are looking for. So the card is going to have numbers on both sides, but you are just looking at the left side because the other numbers are going to be the numbers when you flip the card over. So in this situation, it's going to be the numbers if I downgrade the card to a 1, but you can also additionally flip over the card and upgrade it to a 3, and then you would flip it again to upgrade it to a 4. So you're always just looking at the left side and going from top to bottom. The top thing, or the top number in the top left-hand corner, is going to be the level of that card. So like I said, all cards are going to start out at level 2. So that's going to be in the crown. You also have the name of the card and also the icon that is going to tell you the color of the card as well. You also have the top part here, which is completely ignored when you're using it as a mage card, because this is the number that is going to be revealed when you are figuring out what monster you're fighting or what journey you're going on. Below that is going to be the flag symbol, which when looking at the monsters, we already know that this is the initiative number. And as the mage, you are trying to have a matching or higher initiative number to the monster, because if you are unable to have a matching or higher initiative, the monster is going to be able to hit you for early damage. So if you're unable to match or exceed their initiative number, they are going to be able to hit you an additional time, possibly just hitting you once if you're able to avoid their main attack, or twice if you are getting early damage as well as getting damaged by their main attack as well. And then below that, you have the base kind of attack or journey number. This is going to be the number that you're going to be able to use if you are not able to match an element to this card. So for example, here with this card, this is a red card, but it needs a blue card in order to have it be that higher number. But I don't have any blue cards in my hand, so I wouldn't be able to use an element card with this card, so it'd most likely not be a card that I'd want to use for my spell card. But below that, like I said, you have the higher number, which is going to be able to be used if you're able to match the element. Below that is going to be your boost number. So if you use this card as your boost, you'll be able to get that boost either to your initiative or to your attack / journey number. And then the last icon here is going to be your shield icon. And this is basically going to be how much attack value this card is going to be able to soak up when you do get attacked. So if I do get attacked for 2, for example, with this icon here, I would be able to soak up that attack by downgrading this card to a 1. And if the shield is one of the 4 different colors, so either blue, red, yellow, or purple, and it matches the same color as the monster's attack, it is actually going to be able to absorb or soak up double the amount. So this one here, if I was fighting a monster that had a blue attack, I would then be able to actually soak up 4 attack with this card by downgrading it. So that's everything for the layout of the cards, but going into exactly how you're going to be laying out your set. So like I said, you're going to be creating a set of 3 cards. You have 4 cards in your hand, so you're going to be using 3 of those, 1 for your element, 1 for your spell, and 1 for your boost. And then the leftover one is actually going to be reserved, and you're going to be able to hold on to that for the next round. So you would hold on to that, and then you would draw up to 4 cards again on your next turn. Additionally, you can do something called diverting, which if you put down your region card and it is telling telling you to fight a monster or go on a journey that you don't really want to do and you know is not going to work well with the cards that you have in your hand, you can, if you want, divert and actually discard that card and try another one. So get a different monster or get a different journey. But additionally, when it comes to that, you have to discard that card, but then you also do have to discard one of the 4 cards that are in your hand. So basically you are giving up your reserve card for the next round. You can actually divert again if you wanted to, but you would actually discard down to 2 cards and you just wouldn't have the option of either getting a element card or a spell card. You'd have to choose between the 2. So yes, and that way you are actually going through your cards quicker as well. So you're really trying to do the best that you can possibly do with the cards that you are given and the thing that you are going against. So either that monster or that journey. So for example, with the 4 cards that I have in my hand here, I could decide, because we are fighting against the first monster, I am trying to get to a 7, and I'm also trying to have a, ooh, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to have a initiative of 8, which is crazy. The initiative is going to be based off of your element card. So I could decide, I don't really need any of these. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with a initiative of 3, which is not great. But I am going to take this purple card. This is going to be my element card. So we are just looking at the color, so the purple, and then we're looking at the initiative there. So we have an initiative of 3. The monster has an initiative of 8. So we are going to get some early damage, unfortunately. I do have some boosts here, but my only boosts are a +2 or a +3. So the most I'm going to be able to get up to is a 6, which is still not good enough. So we are going to do the purple card, and then for my spell card, going to use this yellow card here. So if my element card is purple, it is going to be a 5 attack. And then I can use one of these 2 cards for my boost. And I think I am going to use this one that just gives me a 2 boost because I need to get to a 7. So I currently have 5. +2, I have an attack of 7. So I am going to be able to beat the monster. I will say that in order to successfully beat the monster and not get any damage, you have to fully get to their health number or above. But if you're unable to do that and you could at least get to half of their health, you are still going to be able to defeat them. You still are going to get the experience points, which experience points are going to be how you are upgrading your cards, but you are going to get an attack from that monster as well. So in this situation, I have fully defeated them. I got to 7, but like I said before, I did not get to the initiative number, so they are going to hit me with an early attack before I'm able to hit them. So this card here is going to be my reserved card, and these are going to be my set. So I'm hitting them for 7. Unfortunately, my initiative is lower than them, so they are going to hit me first, and they're going to hit me for 1 damage, which is not horrible, but I do defeat them, and I do get 4 experience. So once you are finished with figuring out all of that, you're going to look at all 4 of your cards. I have 1 damage, so I do have to decide which card I want to use to soak up the damage, and I think I will use this one. It does have a 2 shield, but I am going to just use that to soak up the damage. And then, looking at these 4 cards, I am going to now get that 4 experience by adding those to the cards, which you guys will see right at the bottom. You have an upgrade amount. So I have 4 experience, and all 3 of these cards here are actually requiring 3 experience in order to upgrade them. So I'm only going to be able to use 1 of them, and 1 of those experiences are going to go to waste. So that's okay. So we are going to then upgrade one of these cards. Let's say I'm going to upgrade, typically I like to upgrade the one that I've reserved, so I have a stronger card for my next round. So I'm going to upgrade my adapt card to a level 3. You are unfortunately not able to upgrade the card that you used to soak up the damage, so I wouldn't be able to downgrade the card to damage it and then upgrade it again. You have to upgrade a different card than the one that you used for soaking up damage. So I will take these 3 cards here, and they are going to go to the back of my hand. I will say with this game that you can actually play this entire game in your hand. You are simply just going to hold on to the deck of cards in one hand, and then you're going to have your hand of cards in your other hand. So at the end of this round, I would simply have my reserved card. I would get 1, 2, 3 more cards, and then I would lower this front region card, and that would then tell me the next thing that I was going against, which in this situation, I'm going against monster number 2, which is a monkey. So then I would have my 4 cards in my hand here, and then I would be able to mess around with my cards, figure out which ones I wanted to use in order to defeat this monkey. So you would continue this until you've gone through all of your 16 mage cards. If you go into a new round and you're unable to get a hand of 4 cards and still have 1 card left in order to determine your journey or your monster, you would then move on to the next region. So if you moved on to the next region, you'd have all of your mage cards. You would then move on to the next region. We'd flip over to region number 2. I would then take all of my cards, and you have to make sure that you do not flip them around or anything. You would shuffle them very carefully because they are flipped to the different numbers or different levels that you've upgraded them to. So your deck is a little bit better now with some higher leveled cards. You would shuffle those and then again put them in between your region 2 card and your region 3 and 4 card here with your monster at the back. So you would then move into the next region, playing through all of your mage cards, upgrading, downgrading, fighting, going on journeys. And eventually, once you have completed your 4th region, you are then going to go into the final battle. Now, when you move into the final battle, you will have a hopefully really strong 16 card deck of these mage cards that you have upgraded as much as you possibly can. And then you're going to have the dragon that you are going against. And the dragon is going to be laid out where you are first going to go on a journey, and then you're going to defeat the dragon. So you're going on the journey to get to the dragon. Hopefully you have successfully gotten to the dragon by getting through that journey, and then you're going to be able to attack that dragon and hopefully defeat it. Like all of the other monsters, the dragon is going to have an initiative number as well as an attack number and a shield number. And then on the card, it's going to show you both the journey numbers. So there's going to be 3 different options that you can get to, or 3 different levels that you can get to. If you're able to get to 20 journey, you'll have to discard 3 cards. 23, you have to discard 2, and then 28, you have to discard 1. So the higher your journey number is, the less that you have to discard. So your time, the less time you have to discard. And then on the other side of the dragon, you have the attack amount. So based off of how much you are able to attack the dragon, they are going to attack you back. And if you are able to soak up the amount that the dragon attacks you for with your cards, you are going to successfully beat the dragon. So let me quickly kind of walk you through exactly what you're going to do with this final battle. So like I said, you're going to have those 16 cards. You're going to give yourself 7 of those cards. With those 7 cards, you are going to be building 2 different sets. So just like the other rounds, you're going to be making 1 set, but in this one, you're going to be making 2 sets, and then you're going to have 1 card kind of off to the side. And with those 2 sets, this is going to be the journey. So you're going to count up the amount of journey points you were able to get to with both of those sets. So you would add both of them together, and then that would be your number for determining how many cards from the rest of the deck you have to discard. So if I was able to get to, let's say, 28, I would only have to discard 1 card from my remaining deck. And then you would move on to the next kind of phase of the final battle, which is the actual battle with the dragon. So then based off of how many cards you had to discard or how much time you used up on your journey, you would either have 6, 7, or 8 cards in your final battle. So with those cards, again, you would create 3 different sets of the, like I said before, element card, spell card, boost card, and then you would have 0, 1, or 2 cards left over. And then based off of the 2 numbers from those 2 sets that you were able to get, again, you would add those together, and that would determine the amount of damage you were able to deal to the dragon. And then once you've determined that, it will then tell you how many kind of health points the dragon will take away from you. Additionally, those two sets would determine your initiative as well. So again, if you are unable to get to the same number or higher of initiative of the dragon, they would deal early damage, which with this dragon, Rodwig, they would hit you for 9 damage. But the last thing that you would do is you would take all of the cards that you had for this last part of the final battle. So in my situation here, I have 8 cards that I was left with. I would then look at the dragon card and see how much damage the dragon was giving to me based off of how much damage I was able to give to them. So let's say I was able to get to 24 damage. They would then actually hit me for 27 damage. So I would take all of the 8 cards here that I had, I would lay them out, and then I would have to see if I was able to soak up the amount of damage that they were giving to me. So I would have to soak up 27 damage. So I would look at all of my cards, and you are only able to downgrade each of those cards once. So if I was able to downgrade all of the cards and get to that 27, I would then successfully beat the dragon and I would win the game of Dragons of Etchinstone. All right, friends, so that is everything for Dragons of Etchinstone. Additionally, I will add that when you are revealing the encounter number and icon here, so telling you exactly what monster you're going to be going against or what journey you're going to be going on, there is additionally going to be sometimes on cards different icons, which you have the icons here on your reference card, and they're going to be different things that are going to change up the game just slightly. So some of the monsters will additionally, or enemies will additionally have some different icons on them. So some monsters will have a slow icon, which basically means that you can use the move icons as attack icons against an enemy, which is pretty helpful. You guys will notice with all of the cards that there either is going to be a fire icon, so that's going to be an attack card or an attack spell card, or there's going to be a boot icon, which is going to be a move action. And then some of the cards is going to have both. So it's going to be flame/boot. So there's sometimes going to be instances where you're going to be going on a journey, but all of the cards that you have in your hand are going to be attack cards. So those would be instances when maybe you'd want to consider doing a divert to see if you were able to actually get a monster instead of a journey, to better, align with the cards that you got. So yes, I quickly wanted to mention that. That is everything for today's video. A huge thank you again to Chip Theory Games for sponsoring today's preview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Be sure to check out Dragons of Etchinstone over on crowdfunding. I believe when this video goes up, there is about 3 days left of the campaign, so definitely go and check it out. I know that a lot of community members here at the Board Game Garden are super into solo games, so definitely recommend checking this one out. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.